Arab Christian Crusaders. Well, this is happening, and I knew about one of these things, and then through history of since I looked through a video about how the Islam, what the West should know about the Crusaders. In Vienna, Austria, the Christian Crusaders has defeated the Islamist army or whatever. That I knew that this would happen, and this is what happened with is the same day on September 11th, 1063 or whatever, right? But now that we have noticed everything what goes around, it comes around, I think people they had to form a new kind of army, even though talking about ISIS or IS or something like that. I think the first target would be fighting in Palestine. It is what it is. These new crusaders, what they have thought for, these people are so scared off that in their own country they cannot practice their religion or their belief system, regardless of their denomination. I could order you the Canadian government, even the Japanese government, that to accept these Arab Christians as a scapegoat to be refuge. Japan most likely that if they accept these Arab Christians, then they'll know about it and they'll tell what is the horrific stories about them. Could be from Saudi Arabia, could be from Iraq, Syria, to educate these people what it is. And in Canada also, Arab Christians because right here in this country, in the United States, they just have a little bit of ignorance, and they don't know that the voiceless cannot speak. This is a main problem that I heard, and is going to end. Yeah, once they go to Canada, they could speak out. Once they go to Japan, they could speak out. And I believe you. And I believe that this kind of thing, if criticizing an Eastern culture, you might know. If you want to know something, if you think this is great to do what they did, cutting off heads, I don't know if Chinese folks are watching it in Hong Kong. That's the only part of China they could have Google services. I could recommend you to watch the video of all Islam, what the West needs to know, and I could tell you to recommend this. My recommendation is to know what it is, to know the history between the Middle East and Japan. And also, that is also to Koreans also. You want to join and change your ways of thinking. You thought that once you really know, and probably they teach you what it is of what they did and they don't believe, you want to be concerned about, don't be so ignorant and have the comparison of your colonizers versus the Middle Eastern opponents. I think for one reason, there's nobody else perfect but God. When you do something good, God is within you. And that is what it is of the concepts of another religion that I agree to, and I always agree to. Maybe I'm not gonna accept the concepts because I know that it is what it is. Even though the Catholic denominations are saints, Shintoism, When you compare Shintoism to Islam, right? It is more like compared. Shintoism, I think, is more humane, and compared to our counterparts, to our Middle Eastern counterparts, that even though and they have acceptance of Christianity, there's like a few growing number of people in Japan accepting Christianity as 1% or whatever. Korea accepting Islam. It's a very, very, very comparison. You want to know something, you want to feel this free. Once there is a comparison in the global scale. Once there is a comparison in the global scale, finally, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you the truth. If you know about Korean folks, if you know about this, follow what it is. Once you compare and you see the video, Islam, what the West needs to know, compare it with Shintoism. And just the concepts, all right? Just the concepts. And I say to go there, but just the concepts. And compare this, the Mecca from Medina, and what it is for the people for fighting for their own from their own country at the Yaskuni, the place you always criticize. If you want to do this, if you want to compare this, I think I have more respect up to this concepts of Japan's Asian religion more than their Middle Eastern counterparts. What it is that I know what it is. They put Christians as second-class citizens. You might not know this. This is what happened in the Arab world, that what it's supposed to be other belief systems, Judaism and Christianity, felt by a form of a cult member, or a forming a cult labeled as a religion. I mean that this time, once these people try to know Christian Arabs, Arab Christians out there, you want to know the horrifying stories. Once you know this about your risks and dangers of what will happen, look, find out the fathers of the liberators who liberated from all these kinds of conquests and everything. Learn about the Crusaders from the Crusaders from back in the then, when about the battle in Vienna. Learn about something about the history of the United States, George Washington. Eastern concepts, learn from the Japanese about the samurais dying with honor to form these alliance of Arab Christian Crusades. That way that we're not gonna get involved. The United States and the West will not get involved. Let the Arab nations and Arab Christian Crusades form this alliance to fight within their own. Once they fight when they're in their own, the good fight keeps on fighting. It is what it is, and it is that what it is with the Arab Christian Crusades. I mean, Christian Crusaders, I might say. They'll be allowed by all these from all these denominations, from all different parts of life, all Christian denominations, the Catholic Church, the Church of England, and all these other denominations combined, that when they have a force to have the liberators of the founded faith, and the liberators of the founded faith, and the other leaders that liberated from conquest, and people that of following honor, and they're fighting for their land. That way, the good win would be that these fighters, freedom fighters, would go through the freedom of what it is what it is, true freedom and peace in the Middle East, to studying with their own kind, telling about the dangers, or telling about the history of what they have started, to their own counterparts. So, as what I would say, that I would say I want to support them, and I want what the government should do. All the governments provide money to form the Arab Christian Crusaders, and that would be that they would be an alliance group of all these nations in the Arab world to fight for their own rights and seize the source for where it goes, that it would be, this is the new way. Let them open up our eyes and the rest of the world what they are fighting for. I mean, I think it is the best solution that I would say, from the Crusades from back in the day to the new Crusades that we need right now. Let all governments of the world, form the Arab Christian Crusades, that the money will go for them and their own organization. Let the fight for their own freedom, fight from their own justice. This is how you stop terrorism for real. So I would say, please give them a chance. Even though being the refugees refugees in Canada and Japan, that these governments would help them out, and also support that these people would form their own guide of army within their own country of origin, starting with Palestine and with the Gaza Strip. Let Gaza be part of, because I believe in myself that Gaza is a Christian territory, that these guys would go in a more diplomatic matter of the Gaza Strip in the Netherlands, that they have the power to say, this is the territorial part, and Israel, like meaning Christians and Jews, have the same combination of agreement that here, Gaza's for you guys, let us live in peace. This is how the way to form. I want all the governments to have money and write any petition, whatever petition, even have to be on a separate site, that I want you to make petitions to form the Arab Christian Crusaders. Goodbye.